is that?
This is
Dad's new turbo!
all it requires is 1.21 gigawatts. It's the flex capacitor.
I don't know what that means.
You don't even know what that is.
It's from Back to the Future.
All right.
What is that?
That is water sterilizer. Swallowed the whole thing, bro. You're supposed to chew it. Even still, he's listening. I really don't get surprised anymore when it comes to the road leading up to our place and our place in general. I feel like I've seen it all. When I heard the dog bark and I looked out the front window and I saw the nice young UPS driver carrying a large box that I've been waiting on for almost 6 weeks now up our drive, I almost had a heart attack. I was laughing so hard on the inside, I couldn't believe it. If their motto isn't anytime, anywhere, it should be. After talking to the nice young UPS driver, he explained to me that this wasn't his normal route. I explained to him that the normal drop-off is about 2.5 miles back down the road, and I could tell he was still a little shaken up over the drive. But it made my day. We finally got the ultraviolet water purification system that I've had to order 4 times in order to get, and I was sure happy to have it. We see that there's a winter storm coming that's going to affect us. I'm doing everything I possibly can to get the tin finished across the front so I can do things out of the bad weather when it sets in. As I worked on getting the tin up across the front of the house, and I took a few minutes to back up and look at it, this is another one of those moments that was very satisfying for me. The lower few pieces of Doug fir siding that I had on this end of the house were pretty severely checked, and I didn't like them. Once I started putting the tin up, I could really see how the whole house was going to come together between the Doug fir siding and this old corrugated tin. About the time I finished, Cedar came outside and also expressed the same opinion. She loved it. We loved it. This end of the house was basically finished, and we were ahead of the storm. Over the last couple of years, I've bought and sold 3 different propane tanks, trying to get the biggest one I could find. I've had my eye on a 1,000-gallon propane tank because in my mind that was a worst-case scenario. In my mind, I knew that would have to get us into summertime where we could get propane up here again if we needed it. I found a couple of 250-gallon tanks at one time. I even found a 500-gallon tank. But I either upsold them or traded them, trying to find this 1,000-gallon tank. I finally found a local company that was willing to take the last 250-gallon tank in that I had on trade and sell me a 1,000-gallon tank. So in fact, we owned it outright. Most companies around town don't want to sell 1,000-gallon tanks. They want to lease them to you, and I didn't want to pay the $10 a month that was required to lease it. After making a deal with one of the local companies, I expressed my need in getting the tank up here before the road conditions got bad. The owner of the company said he would do his best to get it up here. He was busy. I knew this. I finally offered to run down and pick it up and set the tank myself with the hope that he would be able to get up here and fill it before this storm came in. After Cedar helping me trench, backfill, and compact the gas line from the propane tank to the house, we had everything in place and ready, but I was afraid to unhook our small 5-gallon tanks until I knew for sure that they would be able to deliver the propane. After getting the tank set, the regulators connected, I let the company know that I was ready for propane. They told me they would get up there the next day and get the propane tank filled. This is just one day before this big storm is scheduled to come into town. The good news is they were able to get up here and fill our 1,060-gallon propane tank with about 960 gallons. For the last month or so, I would run down and get the 4 5-gallon tanks that I had filled up and use those accordingly, and we were averaging about 5 gallons a week. So running the dryer as much as Cedar does, using the tankless water heaters, and using the stove, we're averaging less than a gallon of propane a day. That means we've got approximately 3 years of propane on hand. It was a chunk of money to shell out, but we're happy to have this done. This was one of the last of the big things that I really needed to get done before snow would fly. The propane delivery driver pressure tested the line, installed the regulators on the tank, and shortly after he left, I took it all apart and reassembled it the way my obsessive compulsive brain wanted the line and the regulator to lay across the tank, but we got it done. I couldn't be happier with the way things turned out, and I couldn't be happier with the company that helped us. Now, really, the only thing that we have left to get done before we get heavily into winter is lots and lots of firewood. Part of the reason we've been putting off the firewood is because we're waiting for the leaves to fall on the maple trees around us. We've got an abundance of firewood all around us, and as soon as the leaves fall, the wood will burn. Now, naturally, the best maple is seasoned maple, but this maple will still burn. So I've been cutting a little bit of dead firewood here and there, but in the next week or two, we're really going to hit it hard and get a few cords piled up. The house is staying warm. We've officially christened the front porch with 3 haircuts. And we're making memories as a family left and right. I've been cutting Rhett and Reed's hair since they were both babies. I can remember the first time Cedar asked me to take a pair of clippers to Rhett's fine baby hair, and the clippers left lines all over his scalp. So as I progressively got shorter and shorter with the clippers trying to fix these lines, before I knew it, I was down to his skin. Cedar was gone with Sage and Cheyenne, who were about 5 and 3 at the time. And when all 3 of the girls got home and saw this bald baby, both Cheyenne and Sage began screaming, and Cedar gave me a look like I had done something wrong. Lucky for Rhett, when he was a baby, he had a nice round head that looked good with a buzz cut. Unfortunately for me, Cedar seems to spend more time trimming the hair out of my ears than she does on my head, but such is life. After having our final inspections done for us to get our certificate of occupancy, one of the inspectors asked that at least one shower have a cleanable surface. The 6 mil plastic that I put up in the upstairs shower was not sufficient. Rather than spending a couple $100 on a tub surround, I spent $50 on some commercial vinyl that we'll use on the downstairs bathroom until I can do the subway tile that we want to do. There's a few little things like this that I had to get done in order to meet our inspection requirements. One of the other things that was required was changing out the bedroom breakers to the AFCI breakers, which I knew about but didn't do. But other than that, we're good to go. I still need to build some sort of a stair rail. I can't quite make up my mind, but I think I know what we're going to do. But the good news is we got the tin done, we got the propane tank in, and we got a pretty good stack of firewood. So far, so good here at Red Poppy Ranch. Bring on the rain. Cedar's out here talking to her mom, waiting for Cheyenne to get home. She's driving up the road in the worst conditions that we've had so far. We're in the middle of this, whatever this is, this crazy storm that's going through Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, whatever. I don't know much about it other than people are kind of quite concerned about the amount of rain that's coming down. So we're hoping Cheyenne's Jeep does the job to get up here without too many issues. I'm going to keep watching for her, and if she doesn't get here in about 10 minutes, I'm going to go looking for her.